Welcome into the Pursuit of Manliness podcast, where we are vigorously equipping men to pursue biblical manliness. My name is Jarrett Samuels. I'm the host of the podcast. Men, as always, I like to begin by thanking you for checking out today's podcast episode. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, I always appreciate when you leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, what stands out to you. And if you're listening online, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, anywhere else, man, I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the reviews when you share the show. When you get the opportunity, make sure you visit thepursuitofmanliness.com. You can find this podcast episode, the whole catalog of previous podcast episodes. You can learn more about the Herd, our men's retreat, Tribe Builder, and Tribe. Currently, the registration for Tribe 15 is open and will run until the middle of November. Visit the gear store. Click on Tribe 15, not Tribe Builder, not anything else, Tribe 15. That way you know where you're at and you can find out a whole bunch of information. Men, I also want to remind you this podcast episode is sponsored by Dark Water Woodwork, darkwaterkc.com. Doug Cole has been a long time sponsor to this podcast, and just recently he has a new beard oil release. It is called Autumn Spice, not pumpkin spice, Autumn Spice, and as Doug would say, get you some. So if you go to his website, you check out what he has available. These seasonal drops and things that he places throughout the year are only here for a limited time. So use the discount code in the show notes. You'll save money on your order. Men, it's time for today's podcast conversation.
Well, men, you can see from the title of today's podcast, we're talking about Tribe. And the title is What is Tribe 2024. Now, I put the year in here of What is Tribe 2024 because I'm fairly certain I've recorded episodes before talking about what is Tribe. I know I've brought men from Tribe onto the podcast to discuss their experience, talk about community. We've talked about various aspects of it. But recently, I was thinking about, that YouTube playlist and other podcast episodes that discuss Tribe. And it dawned on me the realization of how much Tribe has grown through the years. And what I want to do is one of two things in this podcast. One, I want to give you an insight into Tribe, explaining to you what it is. There's no notes. This is just me talking to you about the community with the hope that you'll consider joining and you'll be a part of Tribe 15, December 1st to May 31st, 2025. Twice a year, we open up registration. Or the second part would be you listen to what I have to say and you say, yeah, I don't think that's right for me, or I don't think this is the right season for me to do that, but that you do something. That you'll hear maybe some things that I share, maybe some things that I talk about of what we do and why we do it, and you'll incorporate that into your own men's group. Maybe you'll start a men's group. Maybe you'll build a community of men in your garage, in your backyard, wherever. We have the resource Tribe Builder, and that's available. But what you need is a camping chair and a Bible, and the willingness to commit and show up and be prepared. That's what you need. So I want to get into this. The door is up, so you'll hear some leaves moving about, cars driving by, but it's a beautiful 49-degree day here, November 1st. At least it's November 1st when I'm recording this. So let me get into it. Tribe, as I said just a second ago, registration opens up twice a year. We open up registration in the fall and in the spring. So sessions run December 1st to May 31st, and then June 1st to, the end of November. And the original thought behind that was kind of rotating the calendar a bit, starting in December. Instead of January 1st, everybody wants to start January 1st, right? We all do. We all have things that we want to get started January 1st. And knowing what Tribe even was back in session 1, it can be a lot to take on. It can be easy to start and difficult to finish. So I said, let's rotate that calendar. Let's start it in December. We're starting to think about the following year and go from there. Tribe has a daily Bible reading. Now, with that said, this coming session of Tribe, we are reading one chapter a week, which is ironic because right now we read one chapter a day. The idea and the heart behind the one chapter a week for this coming session is one, if you're newer to your faith, one chapter a week is easier to digest than going through books at rapid fire. My hope is that you'll read that chapter every day. By the time you get to the end of the week and you've read that particular chapter, you should know it pretty well. And if you're up for it, maybe you'll change translations. Maybe you read the ESV, the NIV, NASB, something like that. Kind of rotate through there, again, giving you a different perspective, seeing different words that stand out to you. So first and foremost, we're men of the word. That's what we're going to do. That's our hook. That's our desire. That's our intent. That's what's really going to change us. And so here we have this global community of men, men from all different states in the United States, all different countries outside the U.S., and we're in this one tribe and we're reading the same thing together. So every day there's a post that essentially says, what's your takeaways from today's reading? And there's all different types of conversations in there. We're not a church. We're not a denomination or anything like that. But we do desire to grow as men of God. So we're going to get in the Word every day. Every week there is what we call challenge videos. Sometimes these challenge videos are pretty heavy. Sometimes they're pretty light. When I say challenge, I don't mean like, go run a 5K in the next 7 days or anything like that. The challenge is, here's the topic. Are you willing to engage in it? I think sometimes men are better at challenges that we can physically compete in or participate in or see through. I think that's easier. It gives me something to do. The challenge can be tough where I say, hey, tell me a sin that is so easily entangling you and what you're going to do about it. And then you're allowing other guys to hear it. And then you're allowing other guys to weigh in and say, hey, brother, I'm going to pray for you. I'm coming alongside you. I struggle with that too. I've dealt with that. Here's something I did. I mean, that's putting yourself out there into the community. So those challenges are real simple. Yeah, they can be awkward, but there's some light ones too. We've done pocket dump or, music or, different things like that. There's one particular challenge we typically do, around Christmas time every year. Some guys lean into it. Some guys don't. That's okay. But that's why it's called a challenge. We want it. Are you willing to do this? And some challenges, again, are much easier than others. Some challenges you can almost do without really even thinking. You're like, yeah, I've been working on that for a while now. Here's my answer. Others, I've had guys say, I've asked my wife about this and what she thought, or I've asked my kids, I will say this with the challenges, everything is posted within our Facebook group. We always have a tribe Facebook group. Do you have to have Facebook to do tribe? No. I wish there were other platforms that were easier to use. I say that as, man, getting guys into that Facebook group can be a challenge. So to say, well, there's this app out here that can be difficult. I don't know cell phones that guys have. I don't know. So right now, Facebook is the best means. But there are guys in Tribe who don't have Facebook. It's just important that you lean into the other things I'm going to talk about here in a second. But with that said, with the challenges that are in Tribe, those challenges stay within Tribe. And you'll realize that pretty quickly. You're surrounded by men of character and of integrity. And nobody's playing your challenge video to anybody else. Nobody's sharing your dirt or gossip. And I say that because I've seen guys who are with other guys in Tribe at the same church. And that's one of our challenges, right? Like if I share something in my men's group, will somebody, will they share it? Will they tell my wife or whatever? And I've seen guys who attend the same church engage in these sessions and engage in these challenges, and it just shows you that they trust one another. They trust the guys that are in there. There is a massive element of trust, knowing that most of these people you're in the immediate context you're not going to cross paths with. That was easy for me to say. Now, with that said, there are guys who will say, "Man, I just prefer face to face." I agree. I would always say face to face in anything is better. However, it is difficult to get to your men's Bible study every Tuesday night. It is difficult to host a men's study on Wednesday mornings and see who shows up. It is easy to just miss your men's breakfast because, well, it's once a month, or I didn't do the reading, or I didn't. What we're doing is we're creating this fluid ministry, this fluid community that no matter what you do for a living, we have space for you. No matter your season of life, we have a spot for you. Guys will say, well, I got a newborn. Well, we got other guys with newborns. Well, I don't have any kids at home. We have guys with no kids at home. I travel a lot. We have guys who travel a lot. I work late. Well, we got people that work late. My point is, when you have people in every time zone in the U.S. and outside of it, the guy in Australia is eating lunch while you're going to bed. You see what I'm saying? So no matter when you engage in the community, there's constantly something that's taking place. Now, there are some set times of things where Zoom calls are at this time and the challenge videos posted at this time, but you have a whole week to respond to the challenge. And so you determine, do I want to do that or not? And not only that, again, it gives you the opportunity to respond to other guys' challenges and see what they're talking through and working through. And it is a great way to foster community, to see men work through these. The challenges vary. I've shared a little bit. I won't get into all of them because they vary depending on the session, and also depending on the guys that are in the group. Sometimes we're in the tribe for a month or two, and I'm like, I feel the Holy Spirit tell me this is probably something we need to talk through, work through, a question we need to ask, something to consider, and we just trust that God's direction is in all this. Again, global community of guys, all walks of life, all different job statuses, all different relationship statuses. Some have kids, some don't have kids. Some are, living by themselves. Some got, you get what I'm saying? Like wherever you're at, we probably have one like that. Okay. And so you got these different challenges that guys are working through and walking through. And then we have Zoom calls, and we've been doing Zoom for a long time, even pre-COVID. And again, Zoom is one of those things. It's a little wonky. There's a little bit of a hiccup to it, especially if you're not familiar with it. You got to hit mute, got to turn your camera on. But I'll tell you what, we have had some powerful conversations on Zoom. And it's really cool to see how the guys just kind of lean into it and engage in it. We got different varieties of numbers of guys that get on these calls. We have times where we yuck it up and we have nicknames or, laugh about this or make fun of that or whatever. I've told some guys at the retreat this year, I believe we take the right things serious and we laugh at everything else. Like everything else is on the table to laugh at, if you take everything serious, we're probably not your group. If you take nothing serious, we're not your group. Okay. So we're going to take the right things serious, but, everything else, man, if you got a team, somebody's going to rib them. If you're into a genre of music, somebody's going to make fun of it. If you like a certain food, somebody's going to say it's weird, whatever. And I'm thinking of different things right now that just come up, and it's good old banter, man. And nothing's personal. I promise nothing's personal. And so you walk into this group and you're like, well, I don't know if I want to be a part of it. It sounds like everybody knows everybody. No. When we start each session, we have a large number of guys who have been in previous sessions, no question about it. But everybody starts at the same place. On December 1st, we all start at the same place. We all are going to read the same chapter, same whatever. Yeah, there are guys that know each other for years or for longer. But I guarantee you, if you engage in it, you'll grow. If you participate, you'll make some friends. If you communicate, if you show up, if you do the things that you say on the onset you're going to do, brother, I promise you, you're gonna make some relationships that will go with you for years to come, if not forever. And I'm serious. I can't wait for eternity to get to hang out with these guys for eternity. It's incredible that the Lord allows us to be connected like this. It really is. And if you've been in Tribe, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been in Tribe, then it sounds a little like, is he just blowing smoke? Well, some of the guys who've come to the retreat, that's a good example, have encountered that tribe culture and that tribe community. As a matter of fact, there are people that think that everybody at the retreat is in Tribe except for them, and that's not the case. It's just there's a large number of men at the retreat who are in Tribe, but they've marveled at the character and the community of guys that they've encountered in that. And it's because we sharpen one another, and we're having these conversations. We're having difficult, sometimes awkward, sometimes humorous conversations. And so by the time we meet up, we already know. We don't have to rehash all that. We already know. And I say all the time, it just gives you more understanding of who the person is. And not only that, we're starting to see people who are going out of their way to meet up. This has been happening the last number of years. It happens. Some guys meet up with someone, once a month, it seems like. And then we've had guys in Tribe. If you're apprehensive about what I just said there, we have guys in Tribe who've probably never met up with anybody. They've never, for whatever reason, that just hasn't worked out, and that's okay. So if you want to meet up with people, you want to get to know them, man, it's there. If you don't, that's okay too. There's no scorecard on who's, doing the most meetups. But I'm saying, like at the retreat, we've had some hiking things, camping things. They've done different events together. It's pretty cool to see how that plays out, but it's even cooler. Should I say it that way? It's even more impactful to see some of the wives get to know each other and then some of the kids to get to know each other. And that shows me it's more than just this little mansphere of us getting together, doing a little hoorah, scratching, sniffing, and then going about our day. Like when the wives start to see the character of their husband change and some of the ways they carry themselves and talk to them, etc., and the kids see that and they want to know more, that's pretty incredible. We do some marriage calls within Tribe. We invite guys who are married to get on the call with their bride. You don't have to do it, but it's there. And again, through that call, we've seen some things shared. We've seen some things prayed for. We've seen, again, couples meet up. It's there. It's available if you want it. But it does take time. If you're in Tribe for a month or two and going, well, I don't have any best friends yet, write it out, brother. Write it out, I promise. The same way you're getting to know people, they're getting to know you, but it is there. One of the things we do outside of those things is we put everybody in a Point Man region. So no matter where you live, U.S. or beyond, you're in a region. I have the international guys in my region just because there's more logistics to having them in Tribe. They're just as much part of the Tribe as anybody else, and they'll attest to that. But there's a West Coast region because guys are more spread out there. Depending on the state might be its own region if there's that many guys there. I think right now Texas and Indiana might be the only. I could be wrong. I think there's another one in there. But anyhow, you're in a Point Man group based on your region. One that funnels the communication. So you always have a group of people, a smaller group that you can talk to. Our sessions of Tribe can be anywhere from 130 to 180 guys. It just depends. I don't know how many guys will be in each session, but with that, you're in a group of 10 to 20 that's in your region. And that's another way to continue conversation if you want. Sometimes it's more talkative than others, depending on the group. Sometimes they have their own Point Man calls. Sometimes they meet up. Hey, we're all going to be at this place, or we're going to plan this trip, or we're going to plan this hike. And so if you're in a region and your Point Man's not doing that, you can initiate it as well. But we have these Point Men. I think there's 10 of them. I can't recall right now, but they're over a region. And as Point Men have conversations and kind of touch base from time to time. But the idea is that no guy is missing. The idea is if you join Tribe, not only are you in this large tribe, let's say of 130 guys, this tribe of 130 guys, but you're in this Point Man region with 10 to 20 guys based on where you live. If you're in the state of Indiana, you might be in a Point Man group with 17 other guys from Indiana. Chances are high you could meet up with someone if you carve out a little time to go grab some wings or go see a game or whatever. I mean, it's totally your call. Again, you don't have to do that, but it's there. And so we have these Point Man regions where hopefully every guy feels included. They're a part of this. Now, how they go about that is based on the Point Man. My group does the WhatsApp group or WhatsApp app or whatever it's called. Some people do that. Some people do the DMs. I mean, it's just different. Some people actually just get in a text thread. Depends on your Point Man. But my point of that is hopefully you see there, you're not only in this big group, but you're in this smaller group of people who are around you to a degree. Again, West Coast guys, that's a little different, but you're in that direction. So if they had a Zoom call with just those guys, if they wanted to have a Point Man call, they know the time zone. It's not complicated there. So you got that going on. And then from there, with all that said, we have our Bible reading, we have Zoom calls, challenges and things. We have a book, a supplemental reading. And the supplemental reading is meant to make us think beyond what we're reading in Scripture, what we're talking about in challenge videos. I mean, sometimes they align, sometimes they don't. But it also gives us another topic of conversation when we get in our Point Man groups or we're in our Zoom calls. And the book's different every session. I will tell you, we're doing Rest in War by Ben Stewart this coming session, and I like it. It's a good book. I never agree, I don't think 100% with anybody, but we don't pick a book for us to rip it apart. We don't pick a book for us to attack the author. I always say I've not wrote a book, but that's what conversation's for. That's what discussion's for. It's what the challenge videos are for. Even some of the finest books I've read, there's still a thing or two in there that I go, I don't know if I'm 100% there. That's okay. It's not inspired. It's just a book written by an individual. I don't know Ben Stewart. I don't get anything for using his book. I've never gotten anything for using anybody's book. And we order a ton of copies of them. That's just the way it is. You get that part of your registration. And then beyond that, we have different forms of communication. We have the prayer room. We have a constant prayer chat that goes on. We have a guy who's kind of over that prayer room, who kind of takes all those prayer requests, and once a week he dumps it into the Facebook group, because sometimes it's easy to miss prayer requests, because sometimes it's rapid fire depending on what's going on, or guys can give updates and stuff. We have a few parameters for prayer room. You know how prayer requests can go in churches and stuff, so we just say, hey, let's just try to keep it us, whatever. There's some things like that. We do have a thing called Tribe Fitness. We don't have a specific workout regime or anything like that, but it's when you're in Tribe, at some point the first couple of days, there's a link that's posted. We have a guy that leads Tribe Fitness, and what it is it's a group to try to keep you or inspire you, motivate you to move towards health. Just saw today, guys, they just post what they're doing. I'm doing this. It's today's leg day, tricep day, whatever day. So they got stuff going on there. Guys can ask questions and get feedback. There's some guys in there who can really get after it. I mean, there's some dudes in there who are in their prime, no question about it. And they're just good men. They're not arrogant or anything, but they're good men. You can say, hey, what do you do about this? It seems like once a session, for some reason, we're like the weighted vest group. Someone will ask, hey, where do you guys getting these vests at, or whatever? We just, Amazon, we don't get anything for that either. But, and then there's guys, who would be in the very beginning part of that going, okay, I need to get healthier. Where should I start? How can you help me? They'll hold each other accountable if necessary. I don't promote Tribe Fitness when I promote Tribe, because it can get muddy. Like, hey, how do I get it? It's just something that's posted there. We've tried some other things, other groups inside of Tribe, but right now Tribe Fitness is the one that's just kind of a staple that works. And sometimes they do a T-shirt. I know at the retreat they kind of connected together and things. So it's neat to see what comes of that. Again, some of those guys, they're already fitness guys. They're already getting after it, and others who are like, well, now that I got some good Christian men who are, doing the same things I'm doing, it gives you an outlet, or gives you a platform, or at least an opportunity to lean into some guys and say, hey, I got a question about this or whatever. So I hope you get what I'm saying there. It's like whatever season of life you're in, we feel like the Lord has provided us a community that is conducive for all those things. Again, you're welcoming your first child. You have your last one moving out. You've never had kids. You're married. You're divorced. Wherever or whatever. God has told a remarkable story through this community. And I'll start to land here where I started. I was thinking on the way home today to record this episode. Tribe Session 1, in many ways, was radically different than Tribe Session 15. There are some similarities. That's nothing against Tribe 1, 2, 3, any of those things. And I think you understand that. My point is, it has continued to grow. The guys know this, that I talk about the now and the next. We have this session right now, but we're always thinking about what's the next session and what needs to change and what needs to happen. And at the end of the day, what I want to do is with the Lord's leading, is create an environment that you can get everything possible out of this that you want. Everything that you sat down and you asked your wife about signing up for this thing, or your girlfriend, or you talk to your kids, whatever, that you say, this is why I think I need to do this. This is why I want to sign up for this. I want you to get that out of Tribe. That's why I do this podcast. That's why I have, I think there's a YouTube playlist about Tribe. And again, this is hopefully an updated version of all that, because I hope as I've grown individually and as the Tribe has grown individually, we've also matured and our conversations are refined, and we have a better understanding of what God's doing here. One of the things I often pray when I get on a Zoom call with the guys is, thank you, Lord, for the people who allow us to do this. Every one of us, you've probably heard me say it, but every one of us has people in our life who need us to get this right. They benefit from our growth, but they also absorb the consequences for the lack of our growth. And I know that every guy that gets in Tribe has something to offer. Whether you're brand new to the faith or you've been walking with the Lord for 50 years, you have something to offer to this Tribe. And if you withhold it, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting us. Because I'll hear things shared on a call, challenge video, a post, whatever, and it's as if the Lord's saying, you needed to hear that. So every guy has something to add to the conversation. I don't care where you're at. I don't care who's listening to this. I don't care if someone forwarded this on to you. I don't care if they tagged you in it. You have something. Brother, I'm serious. I've seen it for 14 sessions now. You have something that we need. However, you can virtually or in reality get around a whole bunch of people. And so if you're in a tribe with 129 other men, it is inevitable that you're going to have some other guys who are very like-minded to you. You have some guys who might like the same team, who might do the same career. They might, I don't know, whatever the thing is, you're going to realize that while everyone has something to add to tribe, brother, we got a whole bunch we can take away. A whole bunch that we can take away, and it will make us better. It really will. My wife said it the other day. I couldn't believe it. She said it once, and I thought I'll never hear it again. She said it the other day that the guy she married is not the same guy she's married to now. And she commented about being a man of God and so on and so forth. And I think, why do I not record this when she says this? But because it's so genuine, it's so natural when she's saying it, and it's the greatest compliment I could ever receive on this side of eternity. But she knows as well as I do, that didn't happen up until the last 10 or so years. I was kind of going through the motions. I wasn't really a high caliber guy myself. I was a Christian. I was married, had kids. There wasn't really a lot of fire in my belly. I didn't have a lot of grit or focus. And certainly the community around me, I needed better. And maybe you do too. And what I've learned over the last 7.5 years, I think it comes out to, of doing this, is when you get around high caliber men, even virtually, you guys say, I want face to face. I know. Even virtually. We just had a call yesterday afternoon. It was 2:00. Sometimes we do a daytime call just for fun. But to hear those guys talk, and they were talking about a lot of things when it came to kids. I don't know how we got to childbirth, but that's where we're at. But to hear those guys talk, when you get around high caliber guys, it will expedite the growth process in you. I promise. I promise. And it will certainly do it more than you doing it by yourself. And so the invitation's out there. It's out there twice a year. I've heard guys say, I should have gotten this thing sooner. I kept putting it off. I get it. I've put things off in my life. I'm a great procrastinator. The invitation's out there. The registration is available on the website. It'll be the first link in the show notes. There'll be that link, and there will be the link to the sponsor of this episode, just to make it real easy. But I want you to know the registration does close, and it closes November 21st. That's Sunday, November 21st. I say that because there's always the fella who said, I don't know, I was sleeping. Oh, November 24th. Forgive me. I made it worse. November 24th. There's always the guy that said, I don't know what I did. I'm just finding out about this. I thought I had more time. I get it. But we have to shut it down because we got to get all the supplies out, the books. You get a downloadable file when you pay your money and get in it. But the books and journal and stuff, I got to get that to you. I know we get everybody squared away in the coming days. I hope you're a part of it. I really do. I hope you join us in this next session of Tribe. I hope you consider what I just said there and say, man, is this something I think I need? Do I need to be held accountable, a little higher standard of being in the Word, to challenge myself, to get uncomfortable, to have some conversations, through Zoom? Brother, do I need to meet up with some guys? There are plenty of guys that will meet up. Again, these guys that travel a lot, they have a massive advantage to meet up with different guys and join up for this and that and all those things. And is this something that would be a benefit to you? And I'll go back to where I started. If this isn't, or you say it's not the right time, it doesn't fit me right now, I understand that. Would you consider just doing something on your own? All you need is a Bible and a chair. Just a Bible and a chair, and say, hey, on Thursday nights at this time, I'm going to do this. Because you got to get around some people. You're going to need to have some conversations. I love what we're doing here. I love what happens in Tribe. There is no secret sauce to this. This is why I do a podcast. I just told you almost all the moving pieces here. There's no secret sauce. The power's in the community. The power is in the caliber of men that are in this. And again, whether you're new to the faith, have been walking with the Lord a long time, or you're anywhere in between, we got one. And we'd love to have another one. We always have room for more. We'd love to invite you to be a part of this. Count the cost. There is a cost to this. It's $150. That's not easy to come by for everybody. It's $25 a month. Now, you pay it all up front because I want you to count that cost. I want you to sit down with your wife, your kids, or whatever and say, hey, I want to do this. Here's what it's going to cost me. Would you help me follow through on this? Would you help me show up? Would you ask me how it's going? I'm going to be in a smaller group of guys who are going to do the same thing. I'm going to be in a big group of guys. We're going to have some conversations. I may go an hour out of my way to go have a burger with somebody who's also in this thing. I don't know, but I want you to count the cost. I want you to ask them, hey, would you help me with this? And hopefully in time, they'll not think about the cost as much as see the change in you. You know there's a difference in your life when people notice the difference. Amen. So think about it. That's what we got. Tribe 15, December 1st to May 31st. Man, I hope you get in there. I hope I get a chance to know you. And more importantly, I hope you get a chance to know these men in Tribe. Thanks for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Let's keep pursuing biblical manliness.